I love that photo you got in the background.
Yeah, my favourite, mate.
Muhammad Ali.
No, it's not.
Is that not Muhammad Ali?
No,
Who is it?
hang on.
Luke, who is it? I
Mike
thought it was
Tyson.
Ali. Huh?
Mike Tyson.
That's a young Mike Tyson.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. How did I not know that? I'm a huge boxing fan and I grew up watching Mike Tyson, and that does not look like Mike Tyson.
It definitely is.
I believe you. Mate, how are you?
Very well, mate. Very well.
All right, thanks for joining us.
No, thank you for having me.
How's your morning been?
Next question.
That bad, eh?
Yeah, somewhat. Yes.
No, we'll go easy on you then. I'm just gonna wait for a couple more people
Thank you. Thank
to
you.
jump in, if that's all right. What's your afternoon like?
Next question.
Busy as well.
Yes, yes. What are you doing?
We got an action-packed hour for you anyway.
Okay, mate. Unreal.
Mate, I really appreciate your time. Thank you for this. I know you're a busy man.
It's all good. Love to give back, and I actually am stimulated by the conversation and, the dynamics as well. So let's work together to figure it out.
What do you mean?
Well, stimulated by buyers agents and, selling agents, and how we can kind of get the best out of each other, but also just open your eyes to what we look for in you and what you need to look for in us.
100%. Like, obviously being on or having sat on both sides of the table, like I like there's a massive overview there of how we can work so much better together. Like, there was so many times as a selling agent when I would just be putting up my hair and I'd be like, I wish you just understood this better, because if you understood this better, we can collaborate and we can get a good result together. But it's like it's missing. There's something missing. There's a gap. It's like, let's see how you work and let's see how I work. And there's obviously a better way to operate and do things.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
Welcome all. We've got a few free people in here. You probably recognize a few faces. Tony, Amanda.
I've only got you on my screen. Oh, here we go. Yep, Amanda's there. I can see Tone.
Yeah.
Hey, Matty, how are you, mate? Thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Mate, very welcome. Pleasure to be here.
And we've got Sarah, Kelly, Luke, Suze. So we've got a lot of Gold Coast here, actually. Luke's Gold Coast, Amanda's Gold Coast, Tony's Gold Coast, Susie's all the way in WA. She's in Perth. Kelly's Northern Gold Coast. So, yeah, look, I'm not too sure who else is going to be jumping in and out, but I've got a bunch of questions for you, mate, and I've got an awful lot to go through with you here today. Firstly, mate, again, I don't mean this half-heartedly. You're a busy man, and I really appreciate you jumping on here for an hour, because as we've just sort of alluded to, there's so much that we can just learn from each other. And I think when we as buyers agents ask the selling agents for feedback and a better understanding, they're not gonna sort of give us the truth and this sort of the understanding. But I really appreciate you, being open and transparent, and what you're experiencing with buyers agents, how we can improve, what we can do better, what we don't need to change. And then obviously we can just workshop it from both ends as well. It's like, well, this is what we're kind of looking for in a selling agent, and, opening up to questions and things like that at the end. So, mate, thank you for joining us. I really, really appreciate it. So I've got a bunch of questions. Firstly, to start off, mate, your business. Like the business model, and then we'll sort of jump into negotiations questions, how we can improve that kind of stuff towards the second half of the meeting. Would that be okay?
No problems. Yep.
Mate, I don't think I've ever told you this story, but I first came across Matt in the industry 10 years ago, and I was at Ray White in Burleigh. Matt had just started at Ray White in Robina, and I was prospecting and I had this client on my books. Have you heard this story?
I haven't. No.
No, you haven't. I don't think I've ever told you. There was a property in Barden Ridge Road in Reedy Creek. It was number 7 or 9, I can't remember, but it was owned by a big bodybuilder.
God.
Ring a bell? But anyway, he was on my pipeline. And I was keeping him up to date, and I was messaging him in, showing him what was sold in the area and all that kind of stuff.
20 Barden Ridge Road. Ash is his name.
Ash is his name. Ash, you got a spot on.
It just clicked to me just then. Yep.
Yeah, big bodybuilder guy. And I was keeping him up to date, and he was on my pipeline for literally 12 months. And then I rang him one day just to sort of see, are you ready yet? Are you ready to come to market yet? And he said, oh, no. He said, we are ready to come to market, but we've already decided on our agent. We're going to go with Matt at Ray White. I was like, I've never heard of a Matt at Ray White. I'm at Burleigh, there's Ray White Palm Beach, there's, I don't know, who it is, Matt at Ray White. And then I looked at the Ray White Robina, and I saw this new face pop up, and it was Matt. And I was just like, do you know that You know that Conor McGregor when he looks back and he goes, "Who the is this guy?"
Yeah,
That was my
yeah.
reaction. I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And lo and behold, mate, you turned out to be the absolute legend that you are. So at the time, I was pretty pissed off that I lost the listing to a newbie. But mate, you quickly showed who you are and why you sort of you love this industry. Obviously, I've been bigging you up for the last week and a half. Numbers don't lie. They speak for themselves. Are you still number one in Gold Coast for Ray White
I am, mate. Yes.
in Australia?
No.
No. What number?
Ninth.
Number 9, mate. Those are impressive numbers. So we are very, very fortunate and very, very lucky to have Matt. So yeah, just wanted to start off a little bit about the business, mate, if that's okay. Obviously, so you've been in the industry for 10 years.
Yes, that's
let me know
correct.
if I've got anything wrong. You've been in the industry for 10 years. You own 4 offices now, is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. You got a team of how many?
My sales team is 7 and my office crew is 59.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. I've got the questions up here in front of me. I don't know where the business ones have gone though. I've sort of lost that because I had a couple of business questions. Sorry. I
Yeah,
thought I
that's
was
all
going to be more organized than this, but they've just suddenly gone missing from somewhere. But there's quite a lot of things that I want to go through with you anyway.
Do you want me
From
to
a
fill in the
business side
blank
of
while you
things,
find them?
from a business side of things, mate, like if you were to start completely fresh and completely cold today as a selling agent, what would you keep in your business that you knew that you did well? And what would you scrap?
Definitely built my business on door knocking. So that would be a key fundamental in which I would keep consistent all the way through. And just talking to as many people as I can. It's a numbers game. It's an opportunities game. The more people you talk to, the more conversations you have, the better questions you ask, the more opportunity arises. The more opportunity arises, your skill set should be able to, convert those opportunities and then process the sale, look after the client, do the right thing, and you're away. And then compound from there. Just try and win that client for life and then tap into their network, and that'll do a lot of heavy lifting for you throughout your career.
So something that you keep is just, like you was somebody who, I think I remember you were writing something stupid like 2 million a year and you were still knocking on people's doors. An exercise and activity that most agents, as soon as they maybe hit 200 GCI, would stop doing. Like, talk us through that. Like, you just consistently, one thing I always admired about you, man, is you've just consistently done the basics well.
Yeah.
Because we always sort of put off, I'm busy now, like I'm busy in my business, I'm busy negotiating, I'm busy transacting, that the low, well, they're actually high value tasks, but those tasks like door knocking get put to one side, but you were consistent with like just continuing to do the basics.
Yeah, mate. I understood that quality for me, like many people like the quantity, which is the cold calling and the phones. But for me, I had great success and great enjoyment out of the quality, which is on the doors and using your senses. I did a training session 2 weeks ago in regards to different types of prospecting. And for me, the type of prospecting where you can use the most senses in your body was the most effective. So on the phone, you only use 2 senses, which is your ears and your mouth, listening and speaking. But in person, you've got another 3 additional senses, which is your sight, your smell, and then also your touch, which was very important to me in the door knock. And the touch was a big one. And I'd use it in a way to open an objection handle where they wouldn't get behind the door. They wouldn't get behind in front of the fly screen, and they would answer from behind the fly screen. And I would say, "Oh, look, Matt Micallef, Ray White, nice to meet you." And I'd hold my hand out there. And it's sometimes a little bit of an awkward moment, but 9 times out of 10, they would open the door, they'd shake your hand, or I'd use it as, "Oh, just wanted to quickly drop off this report. It's going to give you every statistic that Rabina's going up, down, left, or right. It takes out all the guesswork, does all your homework for you. Here it is." And then I would hold it out to them. That would open the door. And then once I've got the door open, it was a flow-on effect for there. So I really resonated with quality over quantity, just personal experience.
You said you enjoyed it. Like not
Yeah.
many people enjoy the marketing and the prospecting side of things. So what I'm getting there is lean into what, like, cause mate, I friggin' hated prospecting. I hated door knocking. I hated cold calling. I preferred door knocking over cold calling. But I guess the message there is to lean into what you enjoy doing rather than sort of trying to go against your authentic self and just to do something that you're not comfortable with. Would you say that?
Yeah, look, I'm probably going to answer this two ways. One's a very brutal way, and then the other one is a default way. And I apologize for me just being black and white. It's just the person I am. And hopefully Colin has warned you about that, but I'm as authentic as they come. But my brutal way to answer that is, if you don't enjoy prospecting, are you really a salesperson? Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to love that. Like, that's your oxygen. Without that, you've got no business, no future, no career. If you're one of the people that actually don't enjoy that and don't enjoy the psychology of people and objection handling and trying to get around that, and by choosing the right words or the right mannerisms or whatever it may be, then yes, secondary, you have to do it anyways. That's one of my little hacks in life, is those three
Mm.
words: do it anyways. So if it's cold, if it's windy, if you're tired, if you're sick, fuck it. Just go and do it anyway. So that was my mantra all the way through. I knew door knocking worked for me. I had really good responses. People responded with me. They remembered me as well. I always wanted to be memorable on the door. That was another little hack. And I just did it no matter what. And nothing altered in that 3 to 6 p.m. time in the afternoons. When I first started, I was out there from 9 till 6. Just hammering away every single day. So yeah, do it anyways is my default there. But I think if you're going to be someone top notch in here, you need to love it naturally or learn to love it quickly.
Yeah, I used to always see you at door knocking at 6 p.m. in the evening. You can
Loved it.
see the smile on your face just when you're talking about it. You used to enjoy doing it.
They were cooking dinner at that time. So it was
Yeah.
another touch point for me. It was another icebreaker for me. So I loved the 6 o'clock talks, and I'd apologize, and I would blame the boss, and I'd say, look, I have to speak to 50 people today. I'm up to 45. I apologize. By the way, what are you cooking? That smells unreal. And then because I'm Italian Maltese, it could open up another conversation about food and pasta and pizza and all the rest of it from there.
Yeah, mate, that's awesome. So what would you say, like building your business now, you've been doing it for 10 years. What would you say is the number one thing that's got you to where you are? Like the number one success, or sorry, the number one action, the number one thing, would it be prospecting, people skills, communication? If you could pick just a handful of things.
I've got three for you, and I
Oh,
always teach this as well, but this is what's really worked for me. Number one is work ethic. It's safe to say that probably I was the hardest worker in the room, in that office in Ray White Rabina. So that's number one. Number two is moral compass always has to face north. That can never deviate from true north. And I think that's done a lot of heavy lifting for me in the past. I've always done the right thing by people. I've never put myself or the buyer before the seller. And I've always given them advice, even if it was a detriment to me, and whether that's not to sell now and wait, the market's shit. Do you have to sell now? If it's a divorce, is it a new decision around divorce? Have you problem solved the divorce? Have you gone through every single thing and you make sure that this is the ultimate decision? Because especially if there's kids involved, it's very sad. So I've always done the right thing, and my moral compass has always stayed true north. And then my third thing, which has been a real asset of mine, and I don't actually appreciate how much of an asset that is at the moment, especially in this industry. I've come to learn of it as of late, but that's always have a student mindset. And so even 10 years in, and from what I've achieved, I'm still investing tens of thousands of dollars every single year on self-development and career development there as well.
mate, stop. You've already answered one of the questions that I was going to ask. Like, again, 10 years in and you're still sitting in the front of rooms, but you're not only sitting in the front of those rooms, you've got a notepad and a pen in front of you. And it's a trait that I've noticed with a lot of successful people, not just in this industry, but just in general. The ones that are riding $2, $3, $4 million a year are the ones that are sitting in the front of rooms with pens and papers or with recorders, like still learning. It's amazing to kind of see that that's still something that you hold close to your heart. And a great thing that you said there, like in relation to like not it's the opposite to commission breath, really. Like Matt had an article written on him in Elite magazine, I think in the last month, and it was, he used to talk them out of listing not talk them out of listing their property, but he'd say, "Are you sure this is what you want? Are you sure you want to list your home? Are you sure you've looked at every single avenue and all those kind of things?" Whereas most selling agents would go in there saying, with a pen and paper saying, "This is just where you need to sign and this is my commission and moving forward." So it's kind of like the opposite to commission breath. And like you said, sometimes in the moment it can be detrimental to you, but in the long run, and we're all in this for the long game, like it's paid dividends. Like you might have lost 1 or 2 listings back there potentially, but it's just meant that you're sitting in the seat now at number 1 with Ray White Gold Coast. Would you agree with that?
Mate, I couldn't agree more. It might be a step back then, but it's 3 or 4 steps ahead in your career, and that's what we're here for. So you might have lost the 20 grand comp on that month, but I guarantee that you've gained 60, 80, 100 grand by being authentic, being real, giving them the right advice. And then you won that client for life. And what I mean by 60, 80, 100 grand is you'll make 4 or 5 sales out of that because you've got raving fans for life. I think the last thing that you've actually just fed back to me, Colin, and thank you, you've done that subconsciously there. But my 4th superpower, now that reflecting on it, is just the power of authenticity. You don't need to pretend to be someone else or a hot shot or whatever it may be. Just be you, just be real. And I think that has been my superpower in life. I've never really cared about what people think. I'm happy with the person I am, my morals, my values. And I really want to align with people of the same caliber. And I think as I've gotten deeper into my career now, that has become highest priority ever. A lot of you guys starting out need the commission, need the money, and I get it because you need to pay bills and you need to live. And that's, I understand that wholeheartedly. But my advice to you, if you take anything out of today, hopefully it's just this, is the sooner you can flip that script and don't need the money and you can speak just from the heart with zero ulterior motive whatsoever, you can just help them and only them. Your conversations are more powerful, your questions are more powerful, your impact is more powerful, and that in turn will build momentum throughout your career.
Couldn't agree more.
And I'm blessed to be in that position. I'd say a good year and a half now, where I've just detached from the fee. Like I don't think about the money whatsoever. If it's 20, 30, 40 grand, whatever it may be, it's zero consideration when I'm going to meet people. And it allows me to actually connect with them from heart to heart.
Yeah, a good point that Susan's just put in the chat. Divorce is definitely not sad. It's bloody great. When you mentioned it's sometimes sad when you sit, but the people on the other side of the table, they're probably happy as like, get me out of here. Her business, and she does very well. Right, let's get into some negotiation chat, mate, and how we can sort of improve our conversations when speaking with you. So, like, let's say, for example, mate, you've got 2 offers that land on your desk and they're very similar. They're very similar in price, terms and conditions, and all that kind of stuff. What goes through your head when you decide which one to push towards the vendor beyond just price?
Mate, that's a real tough one. I guess personality definitely comes into it. You know, like if let's do 2 character profiles, if one's an asshole and the other one's a nice couple with kids and all the rest of it, you know which one your heart's drawn to, and you try and, give them some sort of leg up if you can, ethically and morally and legally as well. But yeah, I think personality is a big one. But that would probably be the most influential one, just speaking off the cuff right now.
So how would they, like, let's say, for example, we're going through a transaction and obviously we've got the first initial call, we've got the negotiations, all that kind of stuff. How are they able to present their personality to you in a way that is going to look appealing and attractive when you're obviously getting to the offer table? Like, what's something?
Look, I think one thing us agents hate, maybe I'm just a different caliber, but I don't take too kindly to deadlines. I don't take too kindly to demands because ultimately I'm the middleman and I'm in control. And yeah, I just have a bad feeling about getting demands from people.
I've said this to these guys before. Like, I mean, I was a selling agent as well. Like, I hated deadlines. Like, they would, unless I was absolutely 100% desperate and I had no other buyers for this thing, putting a deadline on a property is, I'm just going to leave you there and I'm going to leave you in the oven. I'm going to go past your deadline because at the end of the day, like, you're setting a deadline because you're trying to put pressure on me, not because you don't want the property anymore. Like if you set a property on a deadline on Tuesday, on Friday, I can still give you a call and I know that you still want that property.
Yeah. Just on that, and like this is probably just speaking out of school and a little bit strategic for you guys. If you're going to use deadlines, I would use it on the rookie agents, on the novice agents, because that will hold a lot more weight than someone who's experienced and, knows how to deal with that kind of situation. So if you ever were going to use a deadline, I'd use it on someone green and new to kind of give yourself a little bit of an unfair advantage there.
They're potentially going to be afraid to lose you.
Correct. Yes. But someone like me, mate, sorry, but I don't give a fuck.
No, that's a good one. Cool. Thanks for that, Matty.
Just pleasurable, like just nice, accommodating, want to work in synergy. Synergy is a really big word that consumes me at the moment. Like Matt Shrama did this to me at one open home, and I thought it was the most clever touch in the world. I knew exactly what he was doing, but he did it, and I thought it was amazing. He went and helped me switch off all the lights at the end of the open home. Like for me, and we talk about personalities, we do a bit of a disc profiling and I understand it intrinsically, but there's a D personality, which is straightforward, straight to the point, short, sharp. I, which is influential, which is a talker, loves to talk about themselves. S is a steady, so just a steady Eddie, takes their time. And C is conscientious, who wants attention to detail, every little dot and nook and cranny and all the rest of it. For me, with a D, and my time is so poor, I don't know if he read that well, but he switched off all the lights for me and it made my life a whole lot easier. And I thought, mate, he's a nice guy. I would love to work with him and try and give him a little bit of an unfair advantage to secure property from there, just by simply turning off the lights.
What if you got I always love the text message at around 3 or 4 p.m. to the selling agent. I used to love that when a buyer used to send me a message and they would completely just say, hey, I have no interest in it. Here's my feedback. Thanks for your time. Lovely to meet you today. That is music to my ears. Do you get that a lot, or how does that make you feel?
Mate, that 100%. If you can help us do our job and give us information to help us and help our sellers make educated decision, we'll hold you in high respects from there as well.
Yeah, I agree. Just being a nice person then, basically.
Yeah.
I love the way you talked about the disc personality. Sounds like you've been speaking with Ryan Tuckwood.
No, we actually get coached by Andrew Crow, which was the ex-head of performance of Brisbane Lions. So he has gone into detail with us in that. So I think that's very important for you guys as well. Like, you guys need to understand what type of agent you're working with and speak their language. Like the smart ones who deal with me know that I'm super time poor. If someone keeps banging me, 3-4 times a day and wants to have 15, 20-minute conversations, again, probably not going to sit well with me. So just a nice little touch point there. Understand who you're dealing with and accommodate accordingly.
Would you say that most selling agents are D personalities? Very similar to that. It's just like, get to the point, remove the fluff. I don't care how your weekend was. What do you want?
Yeah, mate, it's funny you say that. We internally, our leadership team, we analysed all our sales teams. So I think we've got 19 in total, and majority, if not all, the high performers were either a D, which is they're fast, they're sharp, or they're an I, which they love to, talk about themselves and blah, 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 blah. But I think those two will change when success grows. So I think you probably could start off as an I, and time's not that important to you because you've got all the time in the world kind of thing. But as success grows, I think you will morph into a D.
Yeah. So like, spend 5 minutes before you actually have that conversation with the agent, getting to know them, who they are, how they speak, their language. That literally rolls into my next question. So when somebody picks up the phone and they're inquiring about a property or wanting to move forward on a property with you, Matt, what does the buyer's agent have to do in the first, let's say, 20 seconds of that call that makes you immediately take them seriously?
Well, look, let's pause that there, because I'll throw this to you guys as a little bit of a brainstorming thing. So, this is cut and dry with you guys. Us selling agents know that we feel you need the sale just as much as we need the sale. So that's our thought process when dealing with you guys. So if you show your cards too strongly, we know you're going to do all the heavy lifting for us, and we're going to pull back a little bit. I think, and I haven't figured this out, I haven't gone this far with you guys in the process, but it needs to be a way where you show interest, and whether that's later on down the track, like not initially, because if you showed interest initially and then you go cold, it's going to piss us off kind of thing. So It's all about your timing as well. Like I think, and I always apply this rule to all of my sellers anytime in business. I always under promise, over deliver. And I actually get a lot of business from agents who over promise and under deliver. I had a lady ring me last week and said, look, we're sick of our agent. There's always an offer coming in, X, Y, Z, and nothing ever happens. So I would probably recommend you adopt the same strategy here, under promise, over deliver. It's a much better strategy than giving us false pretense and then pissing us off. And it makes us question your credibility, like as well. Like it makes us question your skill set. Likewise, a seller would question the agent's skill set when they say an offer's coming in and it doesn't. So I think timing around when you actually show interest is very, very important. Have you unpacked that together as a team?
Yes, like in terms of like position, like if you're going to position a buyer to a selling agent and position it with authority, this person's ready to move forward. This is the position that we're in. We've missed out on offers. We're about 24 to 48 hours away from making an offer, and providing you with the selling agent, providing you with the confidence that we are in a position where we're ready to move forward, and then removing that, like literally from my point of view, when a buyer used to do that to me, there was nothing fucking worse.
Yeah.
And like and especially if we're a buyer's agent that works within a particular suburb, there are always opportunities that we are going to be coming across these sales agents again and again and again. And that one time is a place that's going to literally tarnish the reputation from like your mindset. As soon as that agent comes and approaches you again, or as soon as that buyer comes and approaches you again, you're not going to treat them with the same amount of respect. You're not going to treat them with the same amount of trust. And it's like, if we're positioning a buyer and we're positioning the buyer well, like it's our reputations on the line, and we need to, keep those reputations intact over time.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And I just want to quickly share two thoughts I had with you. Number one, I think if you show us some evidence, like around, like if you sent us something like a notepad, which I've got here, and you've got properties on it and you've got notes next to the properties and you've shown it crossed out and we're down to these three and yours is one of the three, that would be a whole lot more believable for me. And number two, the assumption that we make as selling agents is if you've got a client, we already think that they are qualified, they're ready to go, because you wouldn't be wasting your time doing out all the ringing around and searching and door knocking and going to open homes if you weren't confident that they would transact. So I'm not sure how much time each of you spend trying to convince the selling agent that these guys are ready to go, but it's an assumption of ours already. When you come to us with a buyer, or if we see you, we know you've got someone who is pre-approved X, Y, Z and is ready to go. But I'm happy to brainstorm with you guys around that. But I also think, when you guys come to us and say, right, we've got buyers and they're cash, they're ready to go, this, that, and that, we kind of think and because you guys want it more than us, that's just our understanding and our belief. We think you're just going to do all the heavy lifting and we can sit back a little bit, where I think you need to put a bit of fear of missing out in us. And something that I say to my guys, and I always teach my guys this, is show, don't tell. Every single buyer's agent, every single selling agent can always tell shit, but very few can show, which is the reason why I do my price reveal videos. I'm not sure if any of you have seen them, but I film when I get a great result and an owner wants 2 million and I get them 2,300,000. I film that every single time. And I've got 80 plus videos of all these, but it's because very few people or no one can actually show the result. If you actually show us your notes with the clients and all the rest of it, and you send screenshots with them strategically, you can make them up strategically. That's a more compelling story than you just telling us these guys are ready to go, because then we'd just take you for granted.
It's social proof.
%. Yes.
Cool. Sue's had a quick question there.
Yeah, and you were saying about like doing all the heavy lifting, like you're assuming we'll do the heavy lifting. Like, what do you mean by that?
We mean that we don't have to bend or push as hard. We feel like you will do all the negotiating, the pushing them up, et cetera, to get them to pay or overpay, because we feel you need them just as much as, or even sometimes more, because you're not going to get paid unless they secure.
Would you say it's...
we don't overpay. We don't overpay though.
But how do you know? How do you know?
I don't know. I wouldn't have a bloody clue.
And this is the part. You will never know. You absolutely will never. I've done plenty of deals with buyer's agents who think they've got a discount, but they pay 20 grand more than what the seller would have taken.
Mate, it happens all over the country, not just with buyers agents, of course, like with buyers as well. And I always say the only person that knows how well a negotiation is gone is the selling agent and the sellers and people that watch your videos,
100%.
your price reveal videos. Just on that, like it is a skill and it is a tactic in terms of negotiation to have the other person walking away that they feel like they've got to win. That's the goal. That's the skill. That's the strategy. We have to make sure that the person on the other side is walking away feeling like they've got to win. And yeah, that's the skill and the tactic of a good negotiator at the end of the day.
Yeah, Colin, you hit the nail on the head. Like the ultimate sale for me or for a sales agent is to make sure that the buyer is over the moon that they've secured the property and that the seller is so ecstatic that you're their client for life and you tap into their network. And the easiest way to do that for us selling agents is to get them more than what they would take. So ultimately, for agents like myself, it's not just to sell the property. Because respectfully, I mean this modestly, I can wake up and sell the property. Like the sale side of things, the result is a given. It's like breathing. Getting over what the owner wants is my only challenge and my only mission when listing properties at this level.
I mean, we've got the exact same common goal. Obviously, our job is to try and secure the property at the best possible price that we can for the property.
Correct.
The outcome doesn't change.
Yes, correct. Yeah, it's the seller. Yes, 100%. Yeah. Secure it. But the dance off is you guys want to try and justify your fee, and so you should. And the easiest way to justify your fee is one, yes, it's taking out all the time and the rigmarole for time poor people, but two, it's to try and save the money on the buy.
Yeah, and how can we demonstrate that?
Well, it's the narrative that you tell the buyer along the way. So, example, they started at 1,995,000, so they wanted 2 million. And I actually will give you a little tip here, and this is me just shooting straight from the heart. But I actually think, have you guys heard of a terminology called ZOPA? ZOPA? We've discussed this.
No.
Okay. Jot this down. So I did a Harvard University negotiation course, and this is where I learned that. So ZOPA, so they're starting at 2 million. What would be, and you guys want the house. Your buyers absolutely love it, and they're prepared to pay 2 million for the house. Where would you start your offer? Silence? You're not going to put an offer in?
I'm
Depends on the comps. Depends on the comps.
I would find out ask questions and find out the situation about the property, because if my buyers absolutely want it and they've got 2 million, data obviously plays a part, but I think in this market, situation plays an even bigger part. So if I've asked you the question and the best offer that you've had on that property is 1.8, you've been on the market for 3 months, that's a very different offer to if you say the best offer that you've had on the property is 1.95 and it's been on the market a week. So it all depends for me on the situation.
Yeah. Okay. Say we've been on the market for 3 months and we haven't had any offers.
What was the highest offer you've rejected?
We haven't had any offers.
Are they going to sell if they get under 2?
And
Or they will sell. Will they only sell if they get 2? Like, is that their number?
My owner wants 2 million.
Or will they set? Will they?
Your owner wants 2 million.
Or why haven't they had any offers?
Amanda, let's put forward an offer and let's get the conversation started. Happy to chuck something in at 195?
Yeah.
No.
Incorrect. So no, I would just give it to my client. Yeah, where was there a 1.8 there?
Jason said 1.8.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 1.8.
100%. So and then from the 1.8, like, man, just quickly, just getting back to this ZOPA exercise, our zone of possible agreement with your negotiation is 50 grand.
Yeah.
So the low end is 1950, the high end is 2 mil. Our zone of possible agreement is 1950, is 50 grand. Jason's ZOPA is 200 grand. Where is he most likely going to land? In the middle at 1.9. Where are you most likely going to land? 1.975.
Yeah.
You've set your ZOPA too small. So you have to judge the situation. And if the situation is favorable to you, your job is to set the ZOPA as big as you possibly can without offending the agents.
Yeah. That was my thing, is that depending on knowing what the competition is, if I do it too low, then they don't even counter.
But that's okay. You don't need a counter. You absolutely don't need a counter. But what you've done is you've set the parameters of a negotiation. And that's all you need. You need I'll give you a quick example. So I just recently bought my house. I'm trying to black out the numbers here.
We've all got RP data, Matt.
Whatever. All right. So look, it was listed at 8 million. My house was listed at 8 million. My broker said to me, I flicked it to my broker and I said, look, I like this. He said, mate, we've had clients already try and buy that house. They passed in at auction at 7.5. They increased it to 7.6 and they got rejected at 7.6. Where did I put my first offer? With this theory of ZOPA, where did I put
7.5.
What was the time difference between the 7.6 and you put in your offer? Huh? 1 week?
1 month.
1 month.
Yes. I went in at 6.8. I went in at 6.8 and I had a $1.2 million ZOPA. I secured the property because you've got RP data and you can check it for $7.2 million.
Wow.
Purely because I had the balls to read the play, read the situation, and have the balls to set a big ZOPA. You have to do this in the right situation, and don't be afraid to do that. Where buyers agents make the mistake and where we take advantage of is the ones that set the ZOPA too small.
Yeah.
1950 with you, Amanda, I would be laughing and my sellers would be laughing all the way to the bank. I've been hammering them for 3 months saying 2 mils not out there, 2 mils not out there. Why is it not selling? Your expectation's too high. 2 mils not out there. How about we try 1.9? How about we try 1.9? They've got 1.9 in their head. All of a sudden a 1950 comes in and then I'm not even done with you yet, Amanda. I have to go back to you and this is my response. Hey, great news. My owners love the offer and they're willing to entertain it. Like we're going to work with the conditions. The price is the issue, but great news. I've got 10 grand off. The house is yours at 1985. Silence. You're going to come back and you're going to say, well, look, we can't do 1985, but we could do 197. Have a fake conversation with the owner. Look, 1975, let's get the deal done. You know, I've got people coming on Saturday, blah, blah, blah. I've got people from Sydney coming up, all the bullshit that comes with it. 1975, done deal. But you made the fatal mistake that the ZOPA was too small at the
So
start.
for like example, can I ask you, because I bought one last week, but it was prior to auction. And so would the ZOPA, because it's in a different situation of like,
You can't set a ZOPA in an auction.
There's a deadline.
Yes. Yeah.
So would I, you're saying because there isn't a price to even do it. But if I saw the value in a price to be able to buy it before auction at a price that my sellers were willing to pay and they didn't want to go to auction because of competition,
yes.
How would I have had to come in? Like I came in like 80 grand underneath what they would have been willing to pay. And we didn't have to pay all of that 80 grand anyway.
Yeah. Well, the hard part is, and this is the trickiest part for you guys, is you get told something, but you don't know if there's any truth to it.
Yes.
So when you say you came in 80 grand less than what they would have taken.
No, less than what we would have paid. I don't know what they would have taken.
Okay. But you need to get to a level where you can get that information in a roundabout way. And
well, I had a rough idea, but I'll never know for sure. Like I asked enough questions to work out what had been rejected, what was the competition, like knowing what the seller situation was and the fact that the tenant's moving out. They'd only had it a year, was financial distress. They needed like as quick as possible. I knew that there was the urgency in order to be able to buy it, and my buyer had like 30-day settlement all cash.
Yeah.
I had
just one question. What made you think there was competition?
I saw them with my own eyes and I actually knew one of the other buyer's agents trying to buy it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So it's good that you saw it. And it was because just understand our job is to create competition.
Yes, I definitely understand that. Yes.
Yeah. So if you can see it with your own eyes, perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
But so you came in 80 grand below what they were prepared to pay. And what did you secure it for? Did you secure it for 80 grand less than what they would have paid?
I got it for 60 grand under what they would have paid.
Amazing. Like, I think that's a good result. Like, as Colin was just quickly referring to before, the best deals are when the owners are happy and the buyers are happy. So
my buyer is happy. He wanted to actually pay more because he felt bad for the seller in financial distress. And I was like, it's okay, let's just work out the fair value. They're going to be okay.
Then you've justified your worth and you've done an amazing job.
Matt, I've got a question on the ZOPA.
Yes.
So obviously, the larger gap you set your ZOPA, the more time you will need in the negotiation because the gap's so
Can I
big.
get a gluten-free Cali burrito, please? Regular?
Jace, put yourself on mute.
Shit, sorry guys. Starting.
Enjoy your drink. So yeah, when you're setting the ZOPA at like a wide, you need to have time on your side
Yes.
in order to because there's a lot more to think about. The negotiation takes longer is what I'm trying to refer to.
Yeah, so my negotiation took 8 days. And look, it's probably a good market for you guys to do that now and capitalize on that because you do have time on your side. In COVID, you're fucked. And there is no ZOPA. So, but I'm not saying every transaction has to be like this. It's just something that you just keep in the back of your mind. If the right conditions play out, if a property's been on the market for a little while, if there's no one around, et cetera, this is the time where your ZOPA should kick in and you should take advantage of that.
Cool. I love that. We're getting on. We're getting close to the hour. We've got 15 minutes left, mate, and I know there was a lot of questions from the... What's that?
That flew. That went...
Mate, how much time have you got before your next appointment?
Give me 2 seconds.
Amanda sent...
I can do an extra 10.
Okay, cool. Amanda had a couple of questions. I've written everything down that you guys have given me. I don't know if you've got them yourself, but Amanda, do you want to kick it off? By the way, I think it's great that we were just able to have an open discussion there. That's pretty much what I wanted out of this. Amanda, do you remember what you wanted to ask? I've got it written down if you don't.
No, I don't know.
All good. How much information are you willing to share about the seller's circumstances on a property that she wants to buy?
How much information am I?
How much information are you willing to share about the seller's circumstances on a property I want to buy? Like when I ask you, Matt, why the seller's selling this?
I've already got a preconceived answer to that, no matter what someone asks. So usually, if it's nothing towards the detriment of the sale or detriment towards the seller, we'll be upfront and honest. But our default is it's a very reluctant sale. They absolutely love the home. They love the area. Due to health circumstances or due to family issues, they are having to relocate. That's our default. But if there's a genuine reason there that they're upsizing, downsizing, whatever it may be, we'll be very forthcoming with that.
Yeah. And obviously...
If it's a messy divorce, we're obviously not going to be forthcoming with that. Like if it's a brutal divorce and blah, 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 and they need to sell it, whatever it may be, we're not going to be forthcoming with that. We'll have that creative default with it's a reluctant sale.
I used to find that used to create urgency, especially in an auction campaign, because when we used to say it's a divorce or it's a deceased estate or it's a bank closing on the property, usually those are the ones that would have 50 people register at the auction. And then obviously our job is to create competition. I would sometimes use that for me, but I guess every situation is different.
I would only use that if I've got permission with the sellers.
Correct.
It's just an ethical thing for me.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, I don't want third party coming back to the seller. Like what if a neighbor comes through and then goes and reports back to the seller, then I'm fucked. So
yeah, 100%. You'd have to get the permission first. But remember that when the selling agent, lets you know why the seller's selling, their job is to create urgency as well. Their job is to create urgency around the seller's move and that kind of stuff, and that they're motivated and that they're ready to go.
Yeah.
Amanda, you got another one here. What questions should she be asking if she wanted to buy it for the best price? So we're at the negotiation table. What questions should she be asking you? Bearing in mind, she's trying to get it for as less as possible. Yes.
So there are questions around that, but there's also your process in how you do that. Like the whole negotiation okay, so what I did just quickly when I fired my first one at 6.8 and they were at 8 million, they came down by 200 grand. So they came down to 7.8. So I noted that and I went up in 100. So I went up in 100, I came up to 6.9. Then they dropped another 200. What did that tell me?
No, they needed the sale. They were motivated.
They needed me more than I needed them. I went up in ones, they're coming down in twos. So you have to be very strategic in the way that you increase your offer to what message are you sending them through your numbers. People read through that stuff. Agents can look at that and read through that. So that's more important. But questions that I probably would be asking is settlement time. So if they say 60, 90, 120 days, as opposed to 30, there's a subliminal message in their settlement time. Yeah. What conditions are the owners open to? So if they're not open to subject to sale or whatever it may be, then again, there's urgency there as well. So just finding out seller's circumstance around that. But we're very clever in the fact that your questions that you're asking, we know that you're just trying to get some intel to make educated decisions along the way there as well. So yeah, you have to be very creative with those questions.
Yeah, we're here to create leverage
Yes.
for our buyers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amanda, still, what do you like about working with buyers agents, and what don't you like about working with? What do you like about working with buyers agents, and what do you hate?
I think the thing that we love about buyers agents is, going back earlier to the conversation, is it's an assumption of ours that if you're at the property, you're dealing with someone who's not going to fuck us around. And if we can get a deal together with you, there's almost a 99.9% chance it's going to go through without any hiccups.
And you don't have to hold the buyers. If they're a buyer, you don't have to hold the buyer's hand through the process.
That's also another perk there as well. Yeah.
And what do you hate?
It's probably a bit of a selfish one, but I dislike the agents who can't read the play and who keep just hammering me with shit. And maybe I've redirected them to a team member and I say, look, for any upcoming stock, contact Austin or contact Tom. And then sure enough, next week you're getting fucking text messages or with their buyer briefs and all the rest of it. So it's just, that's something that irks me, being so time poor.
Yeah. Would you say it's like the difference between, would you say it's the difference between sort of understanding the process and asking intelligent questions and questions that you need to create leverage, and then just firing stuff out for the sake of firing stuff out?
Oh, mate, that's actually, now that you say that, it's another big bugbear of mine, is just the simple, easy questions. Yeah, it makes me question their competence as a professional.
And do you get that?
We do.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Suze, I love this question. Do you want to ask it? Or I've got it written down here.
Go, Suze.
It would have been something about mindset, about, yeah.
Suze has done her research on you, which is awesome. So she went through your Instagram and she found a post in relation to, I think it was, what are the 3 biggest things that you would put your success down to? And number 2 was controlling your mind. So her question was, what are your techniques for controlling your mind? And nobody wants to know what fucking goes on in your mind, by the way. But what are your techniques for controlling your mind? Because, mate, everything that you're going through, yeah, this is a great one.
Yeah, amazing question, Suze. So number 1, I'm just very, very fucking clear on the end result. Like, I know my why, I know my purpose, I know when I'm 50, what it looks like, and I just reverse. And no matter what comes my way on an hourly, a daily, a weekly basis, it's all part of the chapter of life. And in any movie, in any book, there's got to be a crisis, there's got to be a heartbreak, there's got to be, but then comes the hurrah and we get through it and there's success. So everything that comes my way, I know it's part of the journey. And another thing that I always say is, if it's going to be, it's up to me. So I have to, there's just no excuses. We've just got to keep getting through it. That's the whole process. And another thing I also say is, you are in complete control of everything in your life. And I choose to do this. So stop being a pussy and just keep pushing forward, and if you can't handle it, well, get the fuck out and go do something that makes you happy. But in my mind, this is my passion, my talent, my choice. It's my purpose in life. I've got the end goal. It's 50. I'm done. It's a one-way yacht to Italy, and c'est la vie. And I'm hoping 10, 20 of my crew have been there through that, are on the yacht with me. So it's just a very, very clear vision on what your life is meant to be. And every setback, every knockback, it's all part of the process. And I'll be very, very vulnerable with you guys right now. I was in tears last week with the amount of pressure that I'm under right now. But I know for a fact it's part of my journey. I have to go through this to be and get to that next stage, that next level, and just keep pushing through.
Mate, is there something you do on a daily basis to keep that, as you obviously mentioned, like we all have pressure on us, we all have those vulnerable moments. Is there something that you do every day, like an action or something?
Yeah, great question.
Habit?
So my hack to this is to do hard shit in the morning. Because if you do hard shit in the morning, the rest of the day's easy. So your hard shit is 4 a.m. alarm. Yeah, that's number 1 hard shit. Number 2, move your body, push yourself. Yeah. Number 3, if you don't have an ice bath, cold shower straight away. They're my 3 things. They're my hard shit in the morning. You can do that. You can do fucking anything in life. So yeah, early mornings, push yourself, like find your limit. Not just rock up and just do a and a push yourself, and then, just test yourself mentally early in the morning. If you can do that, your day's set, your week's set, your month's set, your life's set.
Awesome. Let's move on, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you. Jason, mate, if you can't, can you remember your questions?
I think it was one you answered already, but I did have one from this session. I had 2 actually. So going back to your disc profiles,
Yes.
when you went through your education process, did they cover your work disc and then your baseline normal profile? So you got a primary disc and a secondary disc. One's
Yes.
like how you turn up at work, and one's how you are when no one else is around.
Yes.
Did you? Yep.
So yeah, we learned that there's 2 discs, your primary and your secondary. Like, this was just our education. It was your primary, secondary, but we didn't actually compartmentalize it into work and home. So it's a very interesting thing that you said right there. And I will look into that because I'm quite intrigued around that.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was good. And the second one was around the ZOPA. So you said use that at strategic specific times.
Yes.
If you had a bigger ZOPA, what would your criteria be to use that?
Well,
So
it's the lack of demand, mate. Like, it's the lack of urgency,
Yeah.
the lack of competition. How desperate is the seller? So the way that I look at a negotiation straight away, when I'm negotiating with someone or something, I analyze quickly who needs who more, like who has the power. Because there ultimately usually is someone who has the power, and then you play to those strengths. But mate, the cool thing is with the ZOPA, you can actually practice this on your wife or your partner or your kids. Like, one way I do this is when my wife says, "What time will you be home tonight?" You can set a ZOPA right now, right? Your wife's thinking, fucking, she wants you out there and back within an hour. So we call it, you're out, you piss off from the home at 5, she wants you back at 6. So there's the starting ZOPA. Your end ZOPA, the worst case ZOPA is you're not coming home, right? So if you got big balls, you go back to the wife and say, "I'm not coming home tonight." But what the cool part is under promise, over deliver. And when you do come home at 10 p.m., you're a fucking hero.
Yeah.
You set the expectation.
But it's a little ZOPA in itself. Just think about these things, yeah? What time will you be home tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, 7 o'clock. Get home at 6. Mate, fucking brilliant. Like, it's managing expectation is what a ZOPA is.
And
Love
yeah.
No, I love it.
Pissing herself.
Mate, that's cool. What else have we got? I had a question from Charlotte. She's not here. What key questions should BAs be asking? I've kind of gone through that. What questions should BAs be asking when they're, approaching you, or when they're asking about the property, and which questions piss you off? But we've kind of already gone through that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And mate, I've got a question for you before we sort of put it around the room. You, at the beginning of your career, and we've had this quite a lot of discussion previously in the past, mate, when you started off your career, you went heavily against the grain. You went heavily against Ray White's corporates, what they do. Ray White Rabina, you've done videos in tutus, in your boxer shorts, in mankinis, and Ray White have even asked you to take some of them down because they were too extravagant. One of the things that we have come up against quite a few times is, mate, like you didn't know at that time, 5 years ago, that it was going to build you into what you are today. But undoubtedly, there were going to be people that weren't gonna like that. So how do we sort of put ourselves out there without, I guess, the fear of judgment? Because you didn't have any fear of what other people thought of you, and it is a big thing, especially when we're putting out content. You went to the extravagant, and so what, like the fear of judgment, I guess, like how did you handle that when you were, in the early days?
Mate, I think, and again, subconsciously I've done this. I haven't done this consciously, but I can raise awareness to the audience right now. But I just went on a journey where I loved myself. Like, I knew that I had a good heart. I knew that I bring good energy. My purpose was to help as many people as I can. And I just stuck true to that. I believed in myself, like wholeheartedly believed in myself. And some people need to go on a journey and talk to psychologists and all the rest of it to find themselves and to actually love themselves. I think it was something that I was very blessed with, just maybe because of my upbringing and all the rest of it. And then I just stayed true to myself. Like I was just very, very authentic. And I knew that the stuff that I was doing didn't have any malice behind it. I wasn't being a bad person. I was left of field. I was taking a bit of a jovial approach to a very serious industry. I thought there'd be some cut through. I've got a, creative musical background, and I just intertwined that with my line of work. And I knew that there were going to be some haters and people who didn't resonate with that, or it would cost me business. But in turn, they were probably not the people that I wanted to do business with. I want to do business with people that can have a laugh, that appreciate creativity. That's my ICP. I'm very clear on my ICP. ICP is ideal client profile. I'm very clear on who those people are, and I'm okay to not do business with other people that don't fit that. So I think, to easily answer that, know who you are, make sure you are a good person, make sure like my thoughts are healthy, my motives are healthy. And I have a lot of faith, I've been Christian my whole life. And whether that, it's a great topic that I have with a couple of my really close friends on religion and is it real and all the rest of it. At the end of it, whatever type of religion or whatever type of figure you praise, religion has the common denominator to make people better. It makes people better. And that's always made me a really good person, and to know that I'm doing the right thing. I'm very happy with myself, and I just want to live my life the way that I want to live my life.
I think it very much comes back to identity and just unwavering belief in yourself.
100%. Yeah. And that is also built, like character is built through hard shit. So the more hard shit you can purposely do for yourself, my advice, don't shy away from the hard shit. I have a little habit in my office called hard truths. And we actually encourage each other to have hard truths, not shy away from hard truths, but have the hard truths. Encourage yourself to do more hard things in life. Your character and your belief and your confidence will skyrocket.
It sounds like in your team, you challenge each other, because obviously challenge is where growth is. There's so many environments where, we get like, we go home and the missus is like, oh, you've had a great day. And that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. But actually challenging each other when we're in the workspace is where growth happens. So I guess what I'm hearing there is, surrounding yourself with those people that actually challenge your thoughts and your opinions and your ideas and all that kind of stuff. Would you?
Absolutely, mate. But then just as equally important is how you respond to getting challenged.
Correct.
It's very easy for especially men to get heightened. They're challenging my authority, take offense to that. Like,
Correct.
You have to learn how to respond to a challenge as well.
Yeah, be open to it. And as you said, always be the student and be open to learning. It's like, okay, what don't I know? What information can they give me that I don't already know? And there is so many, like you said, so many egos in this industry, both in buyers and selling agents, where it's like, I know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a great skill that you should all take as well is just humility. Like you can be wrong. You know what I mean? Like even me at my greatest, I'm still wrong in circumstances. And yes, I will open and listen, and then I'll make an educated decision from there. But we always encourage challenge, 100%.
100%. Mate, we've got a few minutes left. Anyone else got any questions to want to finish it off? Tony's jumping in.
Well, it's pretty boring after all the interesting stuff we've been talking about with these goals and so on. But Matt, I was just going to ask you about the current climate, like in terms of the buying scene. It's changed. It's flipped around more into the buyer's favour in the last few months. And I guess, are you seeing much in the way of, how can I word this, like any other avenues to, I guess, better our clients' chances outside of just the dollars? Like, is there any thinking out the box that we need to be doing, or is it just, are there any sort of, I don't know, variations to the norm because of the climate we're in that are, new trends that are emerging, or is it just the same stuff, just at different prices, basically? Is there some sort of X factor thing we could be looking into more?
No, mate, I think you're thinking too deeply into that. Like if we just think of it holistically, we're desperate for buyers right now. So if you guys can provide a good quality buyer, we're fucking cheering. We're working with you every day of the week. We don't need any fucking special bullets or X factors. Just provide us a good buyer with clean terms and we're fucking over the moon. So
are you saying that, like, pretty much if they're listed on the market at the moment, they're genuinely needing to sell? Because I know there was a period there for a while where people were probably just having a feel for it, but now it seems like there's probably more genuine need to sell.
Oh, mate, the question that I ask my sellers is, like when I first meet them is why now? You know, like you're aware that the market's not strong. Why now? And the ones we list have motivation. They know full well it's not the strongest market. And if I can just quickly leave you with this, us agents now are having to make 3 sales. So instead of 2, there's a sale in the middle that we've just added. So the first sale is the sale to the seller, and the third sale, which we normally do, is the sale to the buyer. But the second sale that we have to add in this market is a sale on the price. We need to get the price right, and we have to focus on that much more now. So you have an unfair advantage in this market, and you can play around with ZOPA much more than any other market.
We've been doing a lot of work on that recently in relation to how the pressure that you guys are under from the selling agent side to align your sellers with the market and aligning them quickly, which means obviously feedback offers, vendor meetings, and on all that kind of stuff. So, like, how long is it sort of taking for a seller to come to the market to align themselves with kind of where they need to be?
That's
they pretty much coming on.
fully dependent on the set of the agent.
Yeah. So a more experienced selling agent will get that seller in that position quicker.
Week or 2.
Week or 2. Perfect.
Yeah. You'll get them made the sale on the price week or 2. Your less experienced agents won't even get them on there. They'll lose the listing, and then someone like myself will go and pick it up.
Any other questions, mate? I think that's it. Again, mate, from the bottom of my heart, really, really appreciate your time and your honesty and your openness, mate. It's you're a true scholar to the industry, so I really appreciate your time and for jumping on board.
Now, very welcome, guys. Hopefully that helped. You took one thing out of that. Don't use any of that shit on me when we're negotiating as well.
Just you out there. I'm coming to your property next.
You just put a fucking big ZOPA. I'm going to...
I will.
I actually did to you, Matt, what you just said you hate in buyer's agents in 2024 when I brought that Sydney buyer to your property in Robina, and she just fucking flaked on me.
Yeah, that's right.
I literally did that to you.
Yes, yeah.
And I was like, and you gave me everything that I needed. I don't know whether you were being truthful with me or not, but yeah.
I would have, mate. We've got a good relationship, so that's why I didn't burn you when we're still mates to this day. So I understood it was not your fault.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We're going to let you go.
All right, team. Thank you so much.
Matt. That was awesome.
Love your work.
Thank you so much.
Very well.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
No worries, guys. Take care.
Guys, we enjoy that.
Very
That
much.
was awesome.
Yeah. Any sort of initial takeaways that we can take from it immediately?
So many, but the first one for me was right at the very start when he said use all your senses, because I've done a lot of training on body language. You can't get body language from a phone call, but yeah, just the way he said that, I was like, needs to get in front of more people. Yeah.
And when you're at the open homes as well, like understanding like how the agents are moving, how they're responding and things like that, and listening as well as getting a gauge of who they are.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anyone else?
ZOPA.
That's you go, Amanda.
No, just ZOPA.
Yeah, I've got to look into that.
I feel like I worry too much about offending the seller and then them not wanting to engage.
And this is why it's great to get different opinions on this as well, because everyone's going to have had different schooling, different opinions and all that kind of stuff. And he's probably got a slightly different opinion on that than I have. I'm always like, we just have to open it up and a place where we can start a conversation, because the most important thing there is I feel is to get a counter. That's the only option of, the opening bid. And he did. Like he got it, I think he said they come down to 7.8 or something like that. And it's about understanding that area and that point of, where we can, get the engagement from the sellers. But it's I'm keen to sort of do some research into that as well.
It's pretty encouraging too. Now is the time to be doing this sort of stuff in this sort of market without, the agents, they want to get a deal done. The sellers are there to sell. And if you can really figure out, well, where's the competition and is there much, then that's your opportunity to go in with that lower offer and have a real win for your clients, isn't it?
Well, one thing we've got on our side, Tony, and I 100% agree, is we've got time on our side in our negotiations today. So the wider we set our ZOPA, the longer it's going to take to pull a deal together. So we didn't have the opportunity a couple of months ago, because when we made an offer on a property, we had to, be fairly accurate or fairly high on where we had to go, because we only had maybe 24 to 48 hours to close off that deal before another buyer came in. But we've got time on our side now to play around with it a little bit. And I think Amanda's deal, when they came back to us, we were in negotiations for that one for about 3 weeks, but we eventually came to a middle ground. So we can actually play around with those things now because we've got time on our side.